like reference material on the side, which you could kind of see a little. And I was like, let's move that just in case.
So you do a lot of streaming? Is it on Twitch or just on
I
YouTube?
haven't done it for a bit because I've been too busy. But normally, yeah, I stream art on Twitch because I during the lockdowns I did loads of work for Twitch streamers.
Dude, that's awesome. You know what? I wanted to ask you, I want to join Twitch, but I don't know how to start and stuff like that. Is it really complicated or you just sign up and
No, it's
that's it?
really easy. If you want, I can totally help you. I'm more than happy. Okay.
Oh, that's cool,
Or
man. That'd be great. Because I feel like
YouTube.
there's a new audience there, right?
Yeah. Plus, the thing I'm doing now, my partner has a broken leg, and she's still gonna be like off. Well, not she works from home just now, but
Mhm.
she won't be able to like drive or anything until April. But
Yeah.
until then, it was just me and the animals at home. So I was
Mhm.
like, well, if I'm working on drawing and stuff, might as well do it with some people around because I'm
Yeah.
doing it anyways, honestly. So
Mhm.
even if there's no one watching, I don't really care. If there's one person watching, I'll just have a chat and whatever when I'm doing my work.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you do gaming as well there? Or just
I don't with friends on with if friends invited me to it,
Mhm.
but I mainly did yeah, I basically just did artwork and drawing and animation.
Nice one,
Um
man. I was gonna
because
say, so it's
yeah,
just like it's a new audience, right? Like, do you have a lot of people around the world watching?
no, I don't know. No, I'm not very popular. Art isn't very popular on Twitch. Like if you've got around 100 people watching you on Twitch and you're doing art, you're
Yeah.
like top 10.
No way.
Yeah, you there's not it's not a very popular thing. It's like
Mhm.
people who watch me from what they tell me and stuff is like they come home from work, they just kind of put it in the background. I generally have chill music. They just
Mhm.
chill and have that in the background while they,
You do Twitch. Yeah. No, yeah, I was gonna ask say, so yeah, I'm gonna check it out, see if I can, try it sometime
if
because
you need
too many
help like
platforms, man. It's hard to keep up.
for the setup and stuff, it's not hard at
Mhm.
all. It does take a little bit to get the initial setup
Mhm.
done, but once that's done, like I need to change my background. I've had it for a while. It looks a bit janky now.
No
um,
worries.
but
Um,
yeah, I've got like I mean, seeing as I'm on it, do you want to let's show you some of the stuff I do for people? Uh, is do I have them on here? Oh shit, I was on the right thing. That word. Okay, so that's like my transition.
no way.
I've done like animations. So, what else do I have?
Wrong layer.
Because I do that a lot. So, just did a few things like that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's pretty cool.
like if you go, it takes a while. There's like random stuff that pops up as well. So,
Mhm.
in a while, like on this screen, which is my Be Right Back screen. Um,
You just leave a little.
yeah,
You need to introduce me, man. Like, I have no clue what you're doing.
and yeah, every now like if you wait for a little bit, like one of my cats gonna pop up in a corner, and one of the dogs is gonna come up for pop up in a corner.
Oh my
Oh wait,
God.
that's not the right one.
This is awesome. So, like, yeah, I was gonna say, so how long if you're on Twitch doing a quick drawing, like how long do you take? Like how many minutes do you take
I
to
don't really do
start to
them
finish?
quick. Oh, generally for me, 2 hours is pretty quick.
Mhm.
Three. I've done really long sessions. There's one session I did, which is just like people popped on and told me what they wanted me to draw.
Yeah,
So that was kind of popping. We ended up with like a crazy drawing. I've done stuff with other artists as well, where we just pick a theme and start drawing on a background using
that's pretty cool, man. Like,
basically browser
how long have
drawing.
you been doing this, man? How long?
Now, keep my what's it called?
I like your little background as well. It's pretty cool, with the plants and the that looks like a plant, but also
Yeah,
looks like an octopus coming from, you know.
yeah. That's based on like it's. They're based on my actual shelves. That's my actual bases that were there until I got a puppy, and she kept knocking them into them, so I took them down for now.
Nice, nice one.
Again.
So yeah, like tell me, how did you get started into art? Like how old were you? I'm curious.
Like,
Because we've tabled together and we never really
yeah,
had this
yeah, not
conversation.
old, not old. I mean, very old. Well, it depends. I mean, I did a few. I mainly did writing and stuff,
Yeah,
right? When I was young, and a little bit of doodling, but I was mainly like, I want to write, and
yeah.
I was mainly into the writing thing more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I just didn't really get into art. I liked it. I did it, but eventually, like when I was, what was it, 11 or 12, my
Mm-hmm.
oldest friend and I did like a full length comic during high school. So,
Yeah.
like 50 odd pages,
Mm-hmm.
which helped him get into art school because he goes, look, I did all this. And
Yeah.
okay, we started when we were really young. I wrote the plot. We both wrote like the dialogue and the jokes, and he drew it. And after that, I basically did no art.
I feel like it all starts in high school, right? Like with your
Yeah.
pals and everything.
Then I did nothing, and I like even then I didn't really do any artwork or drawing or any art classes because I went to school in France and there's not much of an art support system,
Yeah.
especially in high school. So until I did then I did publishing because after working on the comic with my friend,
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'd like to choose and help other people get their work out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I can do my own work and we can do our own stuff on the side and also help it get out there, but that's what I want to learn to do is like he. So he went off to do like comic book school in
Yeah.
France. Although he's from the UK and I'm from, being French, I went to the UK to learn how to do publishing.
Mm-hmm.
Both, on our roots of comic book production. So I learned, how to do all the nitty gritty, what I call the boring stuff when people
Mm-hmm.
ask me.
Yeah.
So InDesign, a lot of InDesign for layouts, a lot of design in general, lettering, publishing works, like how this system works, how distribution works, all that stuff. Um, and since I also, this is my second language, like my first language being French, I translate from comics from French to English,
Mm-hmm.
and publish that when because they're already written, so I can kind of it's faster for me to translate and re-letter a comic in French to English
Mm-hmm.
than it is to like produce a whole new work piece.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but
So you do you find yourself you think you're more interested to publishing then than the actual comic book stuff? Like
I really like both. I
you
like
you
it.
like both.
I like everything. I think that's my issue in a way. I
I
really
don't think
like
it's an issue actually, because it plays in your best interest. Because obviously you have this stuff you're publishing, and then you also like to create, which is great.
Yeah, no, I definitely like everything. Yeah, then I did like basically my first dissertation was on comics and adaptation of comics like format because okay, that's NSFW. That's a terrible example. That's a bad example. Do I have a good example at hand? I do not. But if you give me 2 seconds, I'll show you an example. For example,
Yeah, that'd be great. It's going to show me something, so stick around. Uh, it could be something really interesting. The sloth. Right, guys, I'm gonna update you on how I met Nicholas. We've met in a couple Comic Cons. We've done so many that I've lost track of, and most times he's tabling on the other side where I am, on the other opposite direction. And I think Nicholas likes drawing sloth, so I'm gonna ask him about it when he comes back. Nicholas, are you there?
Sorry about that. I'm incredibly unprepared. Right. So let's see. French edition of Goblins. Shit, green screen
Oh,
and goblins, but
nice one.
right. So it's a bit shiny. It's gloss. It's hardback.
Mm-hmm. Nice
Um,
one.
and what I do is I actually collect two of those
Mm-hmm.
and put it in this. I chose like the worst. Why did I choose good? Damn it! I should
Look
have used
cool
blue
though.
screen.
Yeah,
But so that's the size difference. This is the one I do is U.S. size,
yeah,
U.S. comic size.
yeah.
This is like this smallish format of French comics.
Oh, the
So I have
smallest.
to. So I wrote basically my first dissertation on what's the best way to adapt one into the other.
Oh my God. How many pages is the American standard size?
It's 96. I'm gonna say.
That's a big book.
Well, the French one is like well half that
Okay.
because I collect two, so I do them two at a time.
Yeah. Mhm.
Book one and two in France, or just book one for me. Book three and four, book two for me, etc.
Yeah. You know, I've not had the chance to read The Goblin, so I'm gonna get a copy of you. And I think my nieces would like those. Are they kids friendly? Kids can read those?
Like I say, depends on your parenting. If you're okay with like cartoon, cartoon violence and stuff, yeah. If you let your kids watch Itchy and Scratchy,
Oh yeah,
like
I think that I'll keep that for myself. So yeah, tell
then
me your fascination with animals, like especially the sloth. I see the sloth a lot on your t-shirts, on the stuff
yeah, it's
you
the
draw.
mascot. The,
Yeah.
this the, See that's like my oldest friend drew that for me as my logo, and I'm still using it because I just love it.
Oh, it's your logo. You know, I never knew that was your logo.
Yeah, that's the logo I use. I mean, I don't, put it all over the place, but at least in the books because there's not that much room to put Big Sloth.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah.
So
So
like,
I don't know. Okay. It came around when I was starting my business. I just moved to London.
yeah.
I was still technically a student
Mhm.
when I moved to London because I just finished my master's, but my student card I was valid for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we ended up going to London Zoo, and I, using my student card, got a year membership for it
Yeah.
for London Zoo, and they have a really cool rainforest bit where it's like open plan. You're like inside with the animals, with like monkeys and the sloth,
Yeah.
and I ended up like spending ages just fascinated and just looking at the sloth and hanging around there when I didn't know when I needed to clear my mind
Yeah.
because it wasn't too far away from where we lived. And eventually, when I needed to choose like a business name, I was like, oh, Sloth Comics. That works for me.
Like, so how patient were you? Because they're the slowest animals in the world. You know, they do everything in slow motion, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Um.
beautiful, right?
Yeah, they can kind of hustle if they really need to, but mainly not. It was just looking at him, not doing much. Although one time he was like, they brought another sloth in to try and make them mate, and
Mhm.
he got kicked out of the tree. So Prince is the London Zoo sloth. He got kicked out of his tree, and he was like right next to everyone. Like you could all,
Yeah.
you're not supposed. There was someone making sure you didn't touch him, but
Oh,
you could like just reach out and touch him.
oh my God, it's public embarrassment. So what
Oh
do you
yeah,
think? Oh my God, I love sloth. I think there's a movie I watched. You know, is it Zootopia?
yeah.
It's like,
Zootopia has Flash the sloth, which is super slow. I have a figure of him in the back as well.
oh my God, you know what? When they go to the police station and they were trying to report, and then the sloth is gonna tell his friend. That was like the most funniest thing I've ever seen in
I
animation.
love the ending when he's got the really fast car
Yeah.
zooming around.
Oh man. So like where do you draw inspiration with your art? Because you obviously like I've seen your stuff you draw is totally different. Like you've got your own style. Like that's why I'm
Oh,
always fascinated by different artists. It's like you're not trying to be like anybody. You got your own style and it really works well. I respect that. How do you get yourself to, come up with
well,
your own style?
that's very impressive because what I do is a lot of the time is I look at things I like and I try it out.
Hmm.
Like, oh, I really like this kind of style. Will it work in this situation?
Yeah.
Um, and eventually, what happened is I don't know how it happened, when it happened. but there's basically it's ink, like I really enjoy inking, and there's this inking way of doing things where I just really like it, and I have a hard time not doing it
Yeah.
because I really enjoy doing it. Um, and from I don't know, from that it just seems to work for me and working in general.
Yeah.
Then I do work a lot with like drawing animals, because in general I prefer animals to humans, and I don't
Yeah.
know I feel I can make more variety and have a little bit more fun if I draw like animals.
Yeah, and it is something really animals obviously. I just it's like even me like growing up to a lot of cartoons that had animals in them, and I like other like for example live action movies that are maybe inspired from books that have had animals, and like that's why I like what Harry Potter right did. You know how they have these creatures like these giant creatures appearing, like these little animals you look at and you think, oh, this is nothing in the real world, and you go into this world where they've made them huge. I just like the ideas like that being brought to life, and it's just something really cool about animals. I mean, they won't really communicate with you, but they've got their own way of showing you affection, like cats and dogs. I mean, dogs will show you more affection than cats, right? Cats just don't care, just give them food and that's it, you know.
Well, I don't know, I well disagree. Like I always say my best friend's a cat.
Is it? Is it? Are they
Yeah.
are they like cool with you? Like are they?
Yeah. Like last night he came in between me and my partner and was just like there getting cuddles.
Oh, I want to see that cat at some point. Most cats I've seen, they're
I don't
like
know where
minding their business. Like most of my friends who have cats, they just move about the house, eat food. They come and just give a little bit of affection. You know the way they move,
yeah.
or they just go away.
It depends on the cat. I've met a
Yeah.
lot now. My partner's a vet nurse,
Mhm.
so I've seen like a lot of animals.
Yeah. Oh
One
man.
year we were pretty poor, couldn't get me a birthday present, and she was doing an internship at Battersea Dogs and
Yeah.
Cats Home, like the really big one in London. So for a birthday present, she just went, "Oh, come on, let's go and spend the day there." And I
Oh.
was like, "Oh, I get to spend the day with all the animals." It was awesome.
So what are you working on at the moment? You working on a new comic book and a new art?
Yeah, I'm working on a lot of things. So here is the my thing which is at the printers soon. Oh my. Okay, I know I should have not thought about the green screen before, but Bloodsy.
Yeah, no worries.
So this is like a massive. I mean, massive in thickness. It's 388 pages. Uh,
Ooh.
like thing about a little black cat and his
Mm-hmm.
adventures.
Ah,
I don't know how. Yeah, it's not
yeah, I can
super
see. I
clear,
can see.
but that's coming out soon. I don't think I'll have it by for Acme, but definitely, hopefully in March if everything
Yeah,
goes well and there's no transport problems.
yeah,
Um, but that was a massive undertaking. So I just finished that, sorting it, getting it approved. Because when I
yeah,
work with French companies, I have to there's droit d'auteur, which is author's rights.
yeah,
So the authors have to okay it, make sure I didn't break. They're all cool with what I did.
yeah,
And actually, this time was pretty relatively painless, because some of the time it's not that they don't approve it. It's just that sometimes they're like, "I'm going off the grid for a month," and it's like, okay. So yeah, whenever you're back and have emails, could you tell me if it's okay? And you have
yeah.
to legally wait for it. But
Ah,
yeah, I really, since the original artist lettered it all by hand, I just spent like ages lettering it all by hand myself as well.
geez, it's a long process. Like, what's your usual day when you wake up and you're gonna lay out a page? How long does it take you to finish a page? Like, for example.
It depends on the page. By hand, it really depends on how many words there is, how
Yeah,
complicated the lettering is, and it can take me 2 minutes to 10, 15. Which I don't know if that seems long or not, but when you have 385 to do or
yeah.
something,
You
it
have
adds up.
to keep up your speed. Yeah.
Yeah, when you get one that has no text to letter on it, you're like, yes, win.
More action pages, panels with no text. Yes.
Yeah, love those. Love those. Really come to appreciate them even more now.
So would you say that you like drawing cartoons more than comic characters, obviously animal cartoons. Like, because I've seen your art is no really like it's not like too comical, but it's also not too cartoonish. Like you've got your own. It's hard to describe someone's art. I think maybe you can describe everybody for everybody.
Yeah,
What do
I,
you enjoy?
I've never had anyone describe my art before. Well, I mean, I don't know. I just finished like my roller derby rules book, which is not a comic.
Yeah.
That's something else. And that's all like anthropomorphized animals.
Mhm.
Um, so that was it's a weird mix of like a human anatomy, specific movements,
Yeah.
and honestly, you're like, oh, you have a style. That's great. It's like, yeah. Sadly, half of the style is because I'm really lazy and I really don't like coloring.
Dude, we had Comic Con last time and you drew me a sloth of ET. That was
Oh
cool.
yeah, yeah.
The character, like how fast did you draw that? Like you sat there for like you like three people bought books off me and it was like quick and you're like, here you go, take home. And it's in my studio now.
Oh,
That was
cool.
cool.
I'm glad you like it. Yeah. Well, I mean, sloth. I've done hundred. I've probably drew hundreds of sloths. So that's one of the things of like, the more you do something, the faster you are at it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure you can experience that. It's the same for probably writing your comics, right?
yeah,
When you write a story, like you probably took longer to write the first issue than you did to write the fourth issue, or
yeah,
the fifth
yeah.
rather. Now we're at five almost, right?
Yeah, five coming this year, end of the year.
Yeah.
So
I backed the Kickstarter as well, so.
yeah, it's on Kickstarter. It's a that was my first time actually being on Kickstarter. Have you put your stuff on Kickstarter
Yeah,
before?
only one. That was the first time was in October, or was it September, or a few months ago with my roller derby rules book,
Oh,
basics of roller derby, because I was like, I don't really know if there's a market for this.
mm-hmm.
I did it from that was like my solo passion project. I don't want to like go and spend the company money on
Yeah.
like my solo project. It doesn't feel very ethical. So I put it on Kickstarter and it worked way better than I thought. And after that kind of spread with word of mouth. So I'm like still sending quite a few around.
Yeah, it's quite interesting with Kickstarter because even me, uh, everybody went to me on Comic Con. They're like, "Oh, why do you not have your comic book on Kickstarter?" They're like, "Do it for a new audience because you meet other people you've not really tapped into, like
Yeah.
people in America, around the world who are looking for new stuff to read." So yeah, I'm giving it a go. It's a constant push, but it looks good. I get a lot of messages, but you get robots. I think people always asking you to pay them
Yeah.
to market. Have you had those before?
Yeah, yeah, I had a lot of those the bots with our marketing program for Kickstarter, blah blah blah. Pay us this, and we'll get you so many things. We guarantee this, and yeah, so
Dude,
many
it's
of
so
those.
funny. It's so funny. There's this
Uh,
dude who's a white man dressed in a suit, but the guy location says he's in Nigeria. I'm like, this might be some scammers who forgot to turn on the
uh,
location.
I think I get a lot. I got a few on Kickstarter, but it's nothing compared to like the amount I get on Instagram.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's the
Instagram is so many. Under every post, I have to go and delete like messages. There's one where within 6 seconds, I had like 7 comments, all bots, like basically DM this, DM that, DM this, to try and like sell you likes or sell you follower,
yeah.
fake followers and stuff. That was
Pretty
that was
wild,
crazy.
man. Um, I'm just thinking maybe one day we should work together on a book, a
Yeah,
children
if you,
with
I'm
animals.
always happy to work on. If you want to, yeah, definitely, 100%.
I could write a
Throw even
story and we'll see what we can come up with, especially with animals. Because, like, can I say, I don't know if I told you, I grew up to watching the legend. Is it Legend of Tintin? You know, the Tintin car?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tintin, yeah.
Oh, man, those are like popular back home back in the day. Like, those were like the thing.
Same with same in my home. Like I as a kid, we taped them all. I've watched them all many many times.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
as an adult, I have like copies of barely censored copies of kind of the two first ones.
yeah,
The first one's a little bit racist, very anti-communist.
yeah.
The second one's incredibly racist, like incredibly
Yeah, I
like
kind of read back and I was like, ooh, these were like,
and I don't know if you read the original version because the one they redid then they redid it
Mm-hmm.
If it was in color, that wasn't the original version. That was the tame, nice version.
Oh, I
So
didn't see the one in black and white.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really hard to find, and honestly, I only have it for like I wanted to see how bad it really was because I really
Yeah.
heard how bad it was. And the one I have is pretty censored, like pages are missing, which is fine because I don't even want to. There's a point where I'm like, I read it and I'm like, I don't want to know what those missing pages were
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because there's some really bad bits.
Wow.
I
So
mean, it was
it's just,
I don't,
I
I'm
think
not.
it was during the time it was published and what was going on in the world. And I think the people who created that were maybe trying to reflect what was going on there, but they didn't realize how bad it was, you know.
I
You
don't.
know?
To what I understood, well, Alger, who's Belgian, so Congo was a Belgian colony.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, no, I think 1920s mainly he was in that mindset because everyone was in that mindset, and later as time moved by, realized how wrong it was.
Yeah.
So that's like the Tintin in Congo, which, by the way, not the original title. I can't say it.
Mm-hmm.
But the that was never made into a cartoon.
Oh, there was never made into a. I think they did even a live action animation. That was I think I've seen something about that.
It was the Blue Oranges, which was the first kind of live action one.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah,
And they made like one. I haven't seen it, like semi CGI, semi live action. It was kind of odd.
so
I might
is
be
it still
watching.
popular in France? Do people still buy those, or is this
It's
taken
a
off the shelf?
classic. It's kind of like asking if Shakespeare's popular.
Yeah, it's like
Like,
Lupe. Have you heard about Lupe? About it's a French guy who is a magician. Is he a magician?
Lupin.
Yeah, Lupe. Yeah,
Arsène
they've
Lupin.
done
Yeah. So that's a classic book. That's The Gentleman Robber.
yeah, yeah.
That's a book. Yeah.
That's
That's a
quite.
French book. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a cool book. How is the French community there? Like with comic books and books, is it huge?
oh yeah, you can't imagine. Compared to like the UK,
Mm-hmm.
it's not even. It doesn't even compare. Like I was just at Angoulême, which is the biggest comic festival. Um, Depending on your definition of things, it's a
Mm-hmm.
comics festival.
Yeah,
It's probably in the world, if not definitely Europe. Um, it's purely comics. There are very, very little like anime, manga, anything that's around it. There's no Marvel movie promotion.
yeah.
It's all purely
French.
like yeah, basically. Well, there's a manga section now, which is kind of growing. But it's all mainly like comics. It's like huge. There's a huge amount of title. I think there's like 20. Last time I checked, there was 25,000 original new titles published every year in France.
That's crazy. I'm
Um,
thinking though, what imagine beats of war in French. Do you think I have a chance there?
yes, yeah,
A huge
you do.
chance.
Yeah,
Ah man. But I
yeah.
need
I mean, when
someone.
I go there, basically, my what I do is my main thing is I go in like buy and sell rights,
Mhm.
so translation stuff. So like
We
I'll
should we
try
should
and
we should translate it in French. I think.
I mean, it can be done. The thing is, I don't publish in French because that's not
Yeah.
like, especially
Yes,
with
that
Brexit and stuff, it's not, it's very complicated. Like it can be done, but
yeah.
it's easier to get a publisher that would do that. And the only thing is finding the right publisher
Hmm.
that would be interested in doing like Beats of War. After that, the translation and stuff, that's nothing complicated.
Yeah. I'm just
I'll
interested
do
in
that for you if you
it.
want, but
Yeah, just put me in touch with some people, man. You never know. You never know because it's just reaching new worlds. I think.
yeah, the thing is, I mainly know the people who sell rights from France, not who buy them. But if
Oh,
not,
who
I would
buy?
totally
Okay.
put you. So I don't really, I'm not very good, and I don't know the others, like the other people involved. I know
So
some
when
of them.
you yeah, so when you go to like Comic Cons here, right, and all these comic book community here, comparing it to France and the sort of energy and the way people buy things, what do you think? Do you think France is way up there compared to Scotland?
I think it's different.
It's
It's
different.
very different.
Hmm.
Um, like I don't know if I barely know a French household
Yeah.
that does not have comic books in their house. like all ages. I grew up with it. Everyone I know had some comics. Even people who didn't like comic books had comic books in their house
Yeah.
because they're a cultural medium. Like even if you don't like Tintin, but you're interested in politics, you'll probably read I don't Persepolis
Yeah.
by Marjane Satrapi. You know, the one that was made into an animation about the war in Iran and her moving away from Iran.
Mm-hmm.
That was a huge, like huge hit, and um
I
like
didn't.
amongst everyone. And then there's like non-fiction war comics and stuff that people might be interested in, which also sells in France, which doesn't really work here.
Yeah.
It doesn't sell that well um, compared to France. Same thing for like westerns. Westerns don't sell as well here as they do, or even in the States as they do in France or Italy.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a different the different market. They consume different stuff. It's quite
So
interesting to know.
yeah,
Um,
there's a lot of all ages, loads
mhm.
of family.
They love reading. That's amazing, though.
Yeah, it's a real cultural thing. Like it's embedded into into our culture.
Do you miss France sometimes when you obviously in Edinburgh?
Yeah, yeah. It depends. It
Yeah.
depends. At times, yeah, there's moments I do. Definitely. I do miss the like comics is one of the things of, but like I think this is a weird, selfish thing that sometimes I want to translate stuff in English, or even if I don't do it, I'm happy someone is doing it
Yeah.
because I can show the titles I really love
Yeah.
to friends here.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's always hard, like when you know there's these titles you wish these people could read, but they can't because obviously they don't speak French. Oh man. So what would you say to somebody? Because obviously you're publishing stuff, you're drawing, you're doing it all, and some people are scared to start, especially to do their own comic books, but they don't know how they're gonna publish their own comic books. What would you say to somebody who is afraid to start to do their own comic book? What advice would you give them to sort of tell them
Yeah,
that they can publish themselves?
I think the first thing is even before you get to publishing is at least finish one project.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's bad. Doesn't matter because you always get better. Like you look at what I did even 2 years ago compared to 10 years ago. I literally had a 400-page blog, well, webcomic called Stickman Comics, and it was all Stickmen,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I didn't even draw them well, but just finish something.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're 12, you start at 12, you finish at 18, like I did.
Mm-hmm.
At least you got something, and people then publishers are like, oh, okay, this person can follow through.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing because if we're going to invest time and money and well, it's mainly time, a lot time and efforts and promotion, you really don't want to take that gamble on someone you think won't finish their project or will
Yeah.
give up
Mm-hmm.
or will halfway finish it. I think that's a really big thing. So even if it's not your greatest work, it doesn't matter. Just show that you can finish something. So finish whatever it is you finish,
Mm-hmm.
even if you change style every 3 pages. It doesn't really matter
Mm-hmm.
in that front. Like, don't be too hard on yourself, but try and finish something.
Try and finish something. Cool, cool. How do you stay motivated? I'm curious. I mean, because you've been into this in this industry for quite some time. How do you motivate yourself to keep going?
I don't know. It's pretty easy. Just what else do you want me to do?
It's your life. It's your passion, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I couldn't honestly. I don't see myself doing anything else. I don't know. I just couldn't do anything else during like even Brexit and stuff where it was uncertain. What if I get like pushed out and have to go back to France
Yeah.
for some reason? Um, I talked to like publisher friends in France, and they went, "Nah, you couldn't work with us. Not because you're not qualified, but because you would be bored to death. You're
Yeah.
used to doing everything, and you'd just be doing one thing."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I don't know. I guess enjoy it.
That's it.
Uh, yeah,
It's just the
it's just
passion, I think. You gotta have the passion and you just gotta keep
yeah,
going.
that passion and keep practicing, keep growing. The don't give up. Finish. Yeah,
for sure.
Because
So
the
can
thing
you
is,
tell?
that's the other thing. You know, when you finish a project, like
Yeah,
on page one, especially your first one, page one, and the first page, the last page will look drastically different, and that's a
yeah,
really good thing. That means you
yeah.
improved. That means you got better. That means you learned, and
Hmm.
that means the next page is going to be even better.
Yeah. I think yeah, practice makes perfect. Not perfect, but you get better with
Yeah,
time
yeah,
you
yeah. It's
practice. And it
like
really applies to different industries. Even me as a filmmaker, writer, the more you do something, the more you
yeah,
get better. Because you get all the bad, all the bad, art or stories, ideas out, and then you're more like, there
well,
and you
even
give
even
them.
if you learn what works, what doesn't, what people like, what
Mhm.
people don't like, what works for you, you refine it, you experiment, and eventually, hopefully, you find how you like doing things, and the
Definitely.
better it works for you, the better people tend to like it. That's what I think.
So where would people meet you this year if they wanted to buy your books? Any Comic Cons you're going to be
Well,
attending
what's
this
the next
year?
one? Acme? You coming to via
Yeah,
Acme?
yeah.
Uh, I'm trying Radcon for the
Oh,
first time
okay.
because I've got a couple like quite manga books and Hopeless Main and Erica and the Princess in Distress.
Hmm.
And if not, you can always get it like order it from your local comic book store because they need it.
Okay.
But any place can generally order it. I have a distribution.
Do you have a website as well? Maybe I'll put it in the description as
Yeah,
well where people can find
slothcomics.co.uk. There we go.
Sloth Comics. I love it. I love
But I
it.
mean, yeah. Oh, you should. By the way, speaking of like selling at Comic Cons, you're like
Yeah.
the best one. You know the passion sells because when I see you next to me, like, you're like you're into it. You're almost literally in the book. There's and just like giving it to, and they just like feel your passion so hard. They're like, well, this can't be bad because look at the energy here. There's no way someone with this energy and motivation and passion could have done something bad. I don't even like superheroes, but I think I'll like this because look at how the love in this.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Like yourself, like what you said, when I asked you what keeps you motivated, and you said like there's nothing you'd rather be doing than this. And I feel like this is me sort of telling my story through comic books. And I feel like if I'm there, every second has to count. I need to tell people why and the reason why, and then share my energy, and hopefully people can see that through reading it. And I do appreciate, man. Like there's some things I picked it up. You've given me advice along the way and things that I've seen that you've done, and it's always good chatting up and being friends. Even from like meeting from Comic Cons, and you just started talking about stuff, and here we're doing podcasts. It's pretty cool, connecting
Yeah.
with you as well.
There is one cool thing I must say I like a lot in the comic world is people tend to help each other, even though they're technically competition or whatever. I don't think anyone sees it that way really,
Yeah.
because everything's unique. Everything's got its unique selling point, and so might as well help each other. I've not had any like all people have been supportive. I must say.
Yeah, there's no like, gatekeepers in other industries
Yeah,
where you have to go through somebody. Here, everybody supports you. And I've been in the community for 3 years now, and the amount of support and where I am like right now is because of the support I've got from the community. So honestly, kudos to everybody who's been supporting me, in a way and helping me find what I need to be doing, to be, doing the right thing in the community as well. So, man, I appreciate you speaking with me today. I
yeah,
know
that's great.
you probably have a busy day today, but I appreciate you just jumping on and us talking about your journey in the comic books. And yeah, I can't wait to meet you on the next Comic Con.
Yeah, well, it's only what 2 weeks away now.
2 weeks. Do you have a lot of titles you bring in? Anything new you'll be bringing?
Usual, no, not yet. Maybe Bloodsy, like maybe, but I'm not sure. I don't want to like,
Yeah.
yeah, not sure on that one yet. Hopefully, but it's scheduled for a bit later for release. But that doesn't mean I can bring it. I can't bring it to Comic Cons.
Yeah.
Um,
No worries, man. I was gonna say that when you're doing a Twitch live stream, let me know so I can join. I'm gonna sign up so I can see what you're up to, so
yeah,
I can get myself used to it. Really, let me know. Just send me a link or something.
yeah,
Whatever
sure.
fun stream.
But if you need a help, a hand for like setting up your Twitch or whatever, I did that semi-professionally, like for most of lockdowns, so like for over 2 years.
Yeah.
I drew quite a few people's. things to the point that I think mine's pretty jank. Mine's probably the worst one I've made because after doing other people's, I was just like, I don't really want to work on mine now. I just spent the day working on someone else's.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Anyway, man, I'm gonna leave you to go. But yeah, thank you for speaking to me. Let's keep in touch and look forward to meeting you at the Comic Con. Let's get some books out there. I'm very excited.
Yeah, no, it'll be great. It'll be great.
Yeah,
And
it'll be great.
you do really want to try and I've got some idea of for maybe like trying to get some local stuff translated to French, but I think it might have to be easiest way might be a few of us to pitch in together and do something.
Yeah, for sure. Let's definitely make it happen.
And you have to go to book fairs. Book fairs are the worst. Well, not all the worst, but they're pretty boring. I don't like them. It's like you do a Comic Con, then you do a book fair. You're like, okay, I can tell you right away which one I like best.
For sure. Like when you're in the artist alley and people are passing by, then you can judge it really better on which one you like better from the people's reactions. Anyway, thanks, man.